Awake living into uncharted territory together, accelerating your wellness path, plus your interconnectivity at the same time. It's not your grandma's or your Veda, but it kind of is. It's the Yoga Healer Real Life Show with Kate Tillman.
Welcome back to the Yoga Healer Real Life Show. In today's show, Jenn Diamond and I talk about intermittent fasting and mindfulness, a woman's perspective. For many of you who've been following the Yoga Healer Show, you know I've been talking about intermittent fasting for a while. Many of you know how this topic is very controversial for women. It's like anything. When you take something too far, things fall apart. What I always come back to with intermittent fasting is how it's embedded in rest and digest. It's embedded in the energetic efficiencies that accompany the aging process in functional Homo sapiens. That's what we talk about today. We talk about some of the synergies we're noticing in our parallel communities that are experimenting with this fasting time, with not always putting something in our pie holes all the time. Oops, I said it again. Jenn Diamond, Fierce, Fit, Fearless. I found Jenn Diamond on Facebook. I was looking for where this intermittent fasting and women's conversation was happening, and she has grown. She'll tell you about this community. She's grown of 25,000 people in a Facebook group who are experimenting with intermittent fasting, and they're all women. She gets them into a weightlifting routine. She gets them into experimentation with their own physiology, where they're figuring out like what works for them. She doesn't have a big fancy website. She hasn't built this big platform. You can find her writing on fitnesssafari.blogspot.com. Everything is in the show notes at yogahealer.com/podcast. On with the show. We all have body goals. We all want radiant longevity. We all want to feel vibrant, lean, grounded. You can have a free body goal session. Get clear on what you want, and we'll let you know if we can help you get there. We'll also give you some free resources to get you going on your body goals. If this sounds good, go to yogahealer.com/body-goals. You'll talk to Lori, who's a yoga health coach. She helps people deeply identify what their body goals are. Often they're not what we think they are. We might think something like very superficial, like I want to lose 10 pounds, but underneath it, there's a deeper body goal. There's a deeper body goal, maybe around how you want to feel in your body, maybe what you want your body mass to be like. The losing part isn't actually what it's about at all. This can be transferred to any kind of experience. Like you might say, like, I just want to get a good night's sleep. But underneath that really is wanting to have a deep reservoir of energy in your cellular structures, feeling that deep energy in your bones. So whatever it is, will help you get in touch with that. And in the getting in touch, you actually tap into your desire for body integrity. You tap into your own body wisdom. You awaken your intuition. So it's my delight to be able to offer you these free sessions for you to identify what your body goals are in this next chapter of your life. Go to yogahealer.com/body-goals. I'm here with Jenn Diamond of Fitness Safari, and you can find her at fitnesssafari.blogspot.com. And the way I came across you is when I was really looking for women that were writing about intermittent fasting. I came across you, I believe, on Facebook first, and then just saw that you were posting on this. So I'd love to hear a little bit about just your experience and your thoughts on intermittent fasting, especially for women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the journey for me started 2009, 2010-ish. I started strength training. I was my mid-30s, really soft. I've always been an athlete, and I just really wasn't happy with how my body looked. And so I'm on the internet frantically, well, not really frantically, but digging through and this was now going on 6-7 years ago, all that was out there then for weight training and women and strength and getting leaner and, without obviously any anabolic steroids or anything like that, a natural way. And I stumbled upon leangains.com, Martin Birkin's site.
Yeah.
And it made a lot of sense to me. At our size, I'm 5'2", 120 pounds now. So for me to lose body fat at this weight, I'm still not as lean as I want to be. I kind of fell off the wagon. We have some personal issues, at home with the family, and other things take priority, and you can't train and focus as much as you'd like to, but I have to eat around 1,300 calories a day to lose body fat, which if I eat 5-6 meals a day, I'm eating like, less than you can put in the palm of your hand 6 times a day. If I do intermittent fasting, I can have a real lunch. I have a big protein shake, and then I have dinner, and I'm never hungry. Like I just have to get through the morning. And the morning's the easiest time to fast because if you have a job or even a house and kids, you be busy. You do chores,
Yeah.
you're shopping, you're taking care of the kids, you're running errands. It's really easy.
We're talking about women and why it's easier in the morning too, because there's just a lot going on. And so it's actually easier to go more into a fasting metabolism.
So it's easy to fast through the morning. My typical day is I get up at 5 a.m. I'm at work at 6:30 in the morning. Work at a Navy base. I'm the fitness coordinator at Naval Weapons Station Earl in New Jersey. So I'm in a gym all day. I have that convenience going for me. So when we're not that busy, we're allowed our workout as our break. So I work out pretty much 5 days a week, and then I will have a shake, and then I will probably an hour later, I'll have a shake at probably 10:30, and then I'll have lunch probably around 11:30 or 12. Come home, I have dinner. My husband and I eat pretty early. 5:30, 6 o'clock would be late for me. And then I don't eat again. Like intermittent fasting stops nighttime snacking because you're done. You have a window, and Martin always professed that women do very well on a 14-hour window. I usually end up going 14 to 16 hours, but I think it's because I've been doing it for so long that it doesn't even affect me.
Yeah.
I do remember it being more of a struggle a long time ago when I started, because you're like obsessed with food. The groups that I'm on Facebook that I started, the Fierce Fit Fearless groups, I have 4 or 5 of them now, more than 25,000 women only from around the world. It's actually pretty amazing. Yeah. And that grew from the blog, the Fitness Safari blog, a long time ago. And the biggest question, I get from people is, what's this recipe and that recipe? Not biggest question, but it's common. And I'm like, stop thinking about food. Like
get on with your life. No, I'm glad I'm really, really glad you bring that up, because I've been teaching the yogi detox since 2002. And my background as an Ayurvedic practitioner. People get so concerned about like, what should I eat? And it's like, how about like, what should you do with your life? Like let the food take care of it. The food will take care of itself when you get on to bigger and better things, especially when you can automate your eating, when you can actually, it's like the decision fatigue, right? Like people they can become so concerned with meal planning and this and that and getting really, in my experience, too much diversity. Yes. And you're saying like too much diversity in times of eating, right? Where they're eating at this time and this time, this time. And like just bringing that into a window.
Yeah. You go to work, you get your coffee, you get your bagel, which is probably the worst thing to start your day off with, just a flat out bagel. And then, you're at the office and someone brought in donuts or coffee cake or something, you have some more coffee, which you're filling up with cream and sugar, and then you go to lunch and you have who knows what else. And then you're kind of hungry at 3 o'clock, or you're exhausted and you want to take a nap because you've been doing nothing but eating carbs all day. And I'm not anti-carb, but I'm anti like just carb, if that makes sense. Yes. You should make, mixed meals. And then you come home and you're munchy, and then you eat dinner, and then you're snacky watching TV, and intermittent fasting stops all that. Yeah. It makes you more mindful. And I'm sure that's something that you can appreciate in your line of work, to be more mindful of your day and your thoughts. Am I really hungry, or am I just bored?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, I taught a webinar a couple months ago, focus on fit, not thin. And I was talking about intermittent fasting and intermittent movement. Of just, instead of having like a little snack break, like have a movement break, actually do something that get out of the sedentary cycle.
Yes.
Right. And into like, I have 5 minutes. Like I'm bored. Great. Like go run around the house, like, or go running up and down the stairs, or like go do 25 jumping jacks. Like you don't need to have a fitness facility. Like that's totally radical that you do. And I love it. But when I started this, I was in an office. I was a public relations person. And so I would, go for walks on my lunch break, and I would go to the gym right after work, and I made the time to do it. Was it easy? No, I was going through a divorce, all kinds of upheaval in my life. In some ways, it actually made me more focused. I'm remarried now, and so now a lot of my energy goes to the new marriage, and my daughter's in college now, so now she's gone. It's all a give and take, but I like the fasting because it takes a lot of the decisions just completely out. I don't eat after dinner. I don't eat breakfast. My 5 days a week, I have the same shake basically at work, a protein shake with frozen fruit, maybe a little bit of avocado or a nut butter, whatever I feel like for my fat, and then lunch is usually whatever I had the night before left over. So with one of the things that I've noticed, and I'm curious if this is what you notice in your community, is the physiological efficiency that starts to kick in, right? Where you simply need less and you're more aware of needing less and your body making more out of less. And because the mindfulness factor kicks in, because now you're actually in fat metabolism. You're not in a chronic stress response, right? You're not in this sympathetic fight or flight. You're in parasympathetic. You're in rest and digest. You're metabolizing deep fat. Your fat's actually turning over. So your physiology is less toxic. Like all the stuff that happens, right? That all of a sudden you're just, stuff. Yeah, all this crazy, totally mind-blowing stuff that happens when you stop eating all the time. The efficiency, right? We start to me, this is a really big factor. And I see these calls to attention in marketing and blog posts and magazine covers of like boost your metabolism. And I just, I'm having the absolute opposite of experience of just like give your, like cooperate with your, observe your metabolism.
You know, and you make a really good point because like I said, I don't feel like I eat that much, but I'm not hungry, but I'm not stressed. When I get hungry, I eat. I get a lot of times in the group where people like, you know, what if I can't do it 7 days a week? Then don't do it 7 days a week. You know what I mean? It's okay. If you want to have breakfast with your family on Sunday morning and that's your tradition, have breakfast by all means with your family. But I think the whole point of it, at least as far as I use it, I know there's a lot of sciencey fasting and cancer and fasting and autophagy and fasting and all this. Yes, there's lots of sciencey, you know, good stuff, reasons why you fast. But part of it is, it's just like you said, take some of those decisions, take some of that stress away.
Yeah.
You know, we have too much. Our culture is a culture of excess.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can have the calories in versus calories out conversation all day. I'm not going to get into that debate or anything like that. But calories do matter.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you know, and if you're going to mindlessly snack all day, you have no idea what you're eating. People want to say, I'm not losing weight, you know, but I'm watching what I eat. Well, what are you eating? Well, I eat a little this, a little that. I'm like, do you weigh your food? No. Do you count your calories? No. Do you track your macros? No. What's a macro? And I'm just like, you wonder why you're not losing weight, but you don't know what you're eating.
Yeah. So let's just go back to putting that time parameter on. So whether it's a 14-hour fast time or a 16-hour fast time or whatever, right? But like even having them, it's like start with 13. Like start with knowing.
Start with that, nothing after dinner.
Yeah. Start with giving your body a little bit of a break, and then not snacking for the 8 hours that you're.
Yeah.
Right. That where you're actually just having a couple meals. I find a lot of people realize they, especially if they're over 40, they find that like 2 meals is more efficient. It's easier. It opens up a lot of time and space in their life, because it's not just eating that takes time. It's either preparing food or going to a restaurant, ordering, waiting, and then eating, and then either cleaning up or, you know, paying your bill or whatever. Like so if you simply only have 2 meals a day, there's a level of efficiency that just kind of kicks in where your time opens. You have more free time, but because you're in fat metabolism, you're actually a little more chill, you're more relaxed, you're more right, like you're a little more aware. So now if you're thinking like, I only am having 2 meals a day, like automatically aren't you more aware of what you're eating? Is that what you're finding with your women, is that they're just like, like, I want this to be good?
Yeah, they think it's a magic bullet. Like if they can just like, and the thing that I want to touch on here is there's a lot of, well, if 12 hours works, 14 must be better. If 14 works, 16 must be better. If 16 works, let me fast for 24 hours. I have women saying, oh, I did 3 24-hour fasts and I'm doing, 2 500-calorie days. I'm like, when do you eat? They mix fasting protocols and they're not meant to be mixed. You know what I'm saying? You've heard
yes, I have. But I also really believe people should experiment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like fail through learning, right?
I have. Yeah.
Right? And there's a sense of like, what can I get away with? What can I mix in? Like and to me, it is fantastic. I've had a lot of people through teaching and leading, guiding detoxes for a long time, and just really allowing people to explore their intuition more than a set protocol. And I tried the set protocol, and there's too much resistance. It was too this or that. And so what I've done and I do have a fairly sophisticated, aware person usually coming in, where they're either doing yoga or meditation already.
Sure.
So they have a lot of awareness built in, but the sense of, hey, check out what it's like not to eat. just check if they want to do that and discover what happens.
Yeah. The problem comes in if people push it too far. You get the hormonal problems that can come for women.
Yeah, talk about that, because I've seen a lot of that on blogs and forums.
I'm not a scientist. I don't have a degree in science. From my experience and my own personal experience, pushing it too hard, too little calories, too long of fasting, too much exercise, it almost leads you to the female athlete triad.
Oh, yeah,
where people start missing periods. Yeah. The hormone disruption. Yeah. They get insomnia.
Yeah.
They have this those kind of
the bone density issues. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they don't listen to their body like a mindful person. And
that's my point, is they're not listening. It's coming from a mind over matter instead of a cooperating with matter from a place of curiosity and exploration, right? It's like this, and it's the old diet paradigm. Right? Of like, let me force myself into this experience and then suffer.
Damn it, it will work. I will lose weight, right?
All right, we'll be back in just a moment. And I want to say my path with intermittent fasting this year has been a rough, rocky road. Yeah, no, it really has. I go in spurts with it where I'll do it for months and then I'll ease off and I'll slip into some bad behaviors and I'll get tired of my bad behaviors and I'll notice cellulite. Oh my gosh, I said it, the C word. No, I really will. I'll notice cellulite and I'll be like, I don't want cellulite anymore. And then I'll go back into intermittent fasting and it'll disappear and I'll enjoy the lovely high of lightness and the groundedness of solid digestion. When your digestion is just super efficient and rocking it. And this is what's making me committed and more committed. And this is why I talk about it quite a bit on the show and also within the Body Thrive course. So if you've experimented with intermittent fasting and you're inspired from this conversation, or even just with giving yourself 12, 13, 14 hours between dinner and breakfast, just keep experimenting with it. All right, back to the show. I want to tell you all about the connectivity kit. So many of us have been on a personal evolution journey. We've had a lot of growth. We've had a lot of breakthroughs. And we know that our relationships determine much of our day-to-day reality. Our day-to-day relationships determine our future growth. We get that to plan and strategize on our future growth, we need to evolve our connectivity skills. And we want to share with our peeps. We want to inspire. We want to motivate. We most importantly want to build evolutionary relationships. So in that vein, I have developed the connectivity kit. It's less than $100. Basically, you can sign up and we help you evolve your relationships. We're all tired of the hyperconsumption that's taken over holiday traditions. And what we really deep down want to do is have a better time with people. This is a little online e-course that helps you and 3 of your peeps. That's right. You get to invite 3 of your peeps in it. There's lots of answers to any questions that you may have about what the connectivity kit is. All of that is at yogahealer.com/connectivity. You get to get it for you, but you get to give it to 3 people. And the whole idea is you get to do it together. The whole idea is the outcomes of it are that you'll connect deeply with your core peeps, with your community. You'll have sparkier, more compelling conversations. There's a whole productivity section for anyone who wants to tap into what easeful productivity looks like. You'll be able to skillfully design your space and your time better. And the whole idea here is that you will up-level 3 of your key relationships going into the new year. We recommend 3 core relationships for you to actively evolve through using the connectivity kit. 1 is a friendship. So right now, just think of who comes to mind. Who would you want to evolve your relationship with? Number 2 is an evolutionary partnership, someone that you can foresee helping on your dharmic up level in the next year. And the 3rd is a mentor or a mentee relationship. And you'll get to gift, of course, if you just want to give it to 3 friends or 3 family members, that is totally kosher. Once you sign up, you get in, you get access. There's 4 zones of training. One's the connectivity zone. The other is the sparkly conversation zone, the mentor zone, and the productivity zone. I had so much fun developing the videos, the tip sheets, the trainings, the tools to help you evolve your connections and your partnerships. Once you invest, you always have access. It never expires. In fact, if you invested last year, send an email to info@yogahealer and send them your receipt. We'll actually let you invite another 2 or 3 people in there because that's what we're all about. We're up-leveling connectivity and helping you have the tools and the support that you need to evolve your relationships. Go to yogahealer.com/connectivity. CONNECTIVITY. Happy holidays.
Well, I recently, like I said, I had some issues, some personal stuff going on. And so I've recently jumped back on like the being more mindful and I weigh my food almost, probably 6 days a week, 5 days a week. So I know I'm very mindful of my portions and things like that. And I need a lot less than I thought I did, if that makes sense.
So yeah, talk about weighing food, because that to me is so, like, I am so not.
It sounds obsessive.
I'm just so not attracted to the disc. To me, it feels less in touch. Like I'm already disrespecting my intuition if I need an outside measurement. But what I love about this conversation is is that it works for you. So I know for a lot of people listening, it's gonna bring them into the realm of the real, right? Where they start to realize that, like, oh, when I measure it, now I'm actually way more conscious of.
Well, that's I think the benefit, and there are shortcuts. Like precision nutrition is really big on palm size for women for protein, thumb size of fat, fist size for carb. Like that's anybody can do that. That's easy to remember. You don't need a scale. That. So that's Dr. Berardi, Precision Nutrition. I highly recommend his website. I get a lot of information from him, and he's got a whole thing on intermittent fasting for women on there too. That kind of warns you about the hormonal problems of pushing it too far, Yeah. But for me, the weighing is easy. It's my life. I'm a fitness coordinator. I'm a personal trainer. All this blah, blah, blah. So it's easy for me. Yeah. I have a little digital scale in my kitchen. It's flat. I put my plate on it and I put out my food and I weigh it just so I can track it in my Fitness Pal. Sometimes I don't finish it. Sometimes I go back for more, but I know what I'm eating.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that or wants to do that. That's why I said the palm, the fist, and the thumb.
Oh, I love the palm, the fist, and the thumb. So easy.
It's an easy guideline. Now, if the fist is Oreos, you might have a different issue.
So let's talk about this, because this is something I really noticed myself with intermittent fasting is the decrease of cravings for crap, like cravings for. Like, even just like the things that other people would bring into the house or this and that.
You didn't even want it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So honestly, I can't personally explain it, but it happens. That's why part of, like I started to say, my Facebook groups, I have 25,000 women in like 5 groups, and I don't allow them to post food pictures on the site. Because we're surrounded by food cues and food triggers everywhere you go.
Right.
Pinterest, Instagram, people are taking pictures of their food.
Yeah.
TV, billboards, the radio, everywhere. So this can be one safe place where I ask, do not post pictures of your food. Because you can scroll through and have conversations without even thinking about food.
Yeah.
And it's important. I think this whole thing, which is kind of funny because we come from very different worlds. Like, I don't do yoga. I'm not into all, meditation. I probably should, honestly. I could use to take the edge off a little bit, but.
Well, and I could probably break out a scale in my kitchen just for curiosity's sake and experiment with that.
But it brings out that mindfulness. I think that's where we merge.
Yeah.
Is being aware. And like you said, if you're hungrier one day, okay, eat more that day. But in general, I think a lot of people have no idea what they're putting in their body.
Right.
And like you said, when you start fasting, I don't know why, but the cravings do go away. I'm not sure if it's a chicken and egg conversation, like you start eating better, so you stop craving, or if the cravings stop first. I don't
think
know.
What happens is that you start metabolizing your fat, and and the fat tissue stores toxins. So these toxins are released, and the toxins themselves are they're fairly pathological, right? Themselves, just by definition, and there's going to be a lot of chemicals in our fat tissue from chemical laden foods, right? Yeah. So like you have an Oreo, like just read the ingredient list on that and like try to find a nutrient in there. Like, good luck with that. Right. And so like that's the stuff, and that generates its own cravings. So as those fat cells get burned, the body naturally goes into a detox. And then what I find happens then next, and the length of time this happens for, I'd be really curious on the research on. In my personal experience and working with a bunch of people, like it's probably about 6 months, but the body desires really good, clean fat.
Yes.
Right. And so then the person's actually craving the cleanest fats that they know how to find. And for some people, like they don't know how to find them. So they keep putting the crap in and it's not as satisfying. And then they might experiment with almonds or cashews, and then they might graduate to soaking and sprouting their nuts. And so they're highly digestible and highly absorbable and don't have any of the, the enzyme inhibitors, right, are now absorbed and gone. And they're getting just a clean fat into actually building good quality fat tissue. Yeah. And those cravings are they're gone. And now and then what I find happens, and I'm curious if this happens in your community too, is then when that happens, then the need for more fat decreases, and like the efficiencies again pick up, and the body just wants a leaner. It's like a leaner, cleaner burn, and so then there's just right.
Yeah. Well, personally, I've experienced that. I can't speak for all the people, in the group. There's, 25,000 different reasons why those women are have joined the group. So it's so individual, but I, from my own personal experience, understand exactly where you're coming from. And I think that my body craves healthier food. And when I don't eat right, I pay for it. I don't feel well. I feel the difference. It's almost like you have, a Ferrari and you go and put regular gas in it. You're going to feel the difference when you're driving that car.
Right.
But you don't know it until you've driven the Ferrari on premium fuel to know how bad you feel. Does that make sense?
It does. It makes perfect sense. I mean, it's, well, I mean, in the system that I come from yoga and Ayurveda, there's levels of consciousness, right? So and it's not just energetic, it's physical, right? So when you have a more conscious body, like when your fat tissue is clean, when you're running off fat metabolism instead of like popping stuff into your blood sugar all the time, right? When you're running at a deeper, cleaner level, subtle energy wakes up. So you feel high most of the time, but it's not like a high. It's not like a peak high where you're just.
It's a focused high.
It's a focused high. It's a mellow high, and it feels good.
Yeah, if you read Lean Gains, a lot of what he says is how productive he is in the mornings fasting. And you're not eating because you get this mental clarity, this focus, and that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And then when you lose it, like when you said, like when you go off of it and you just, then you actually realize that you were high because now you're low. But when you're on it, you don't, it's such a mellow way of being. You don't realize how clean and clear and subtle you were running. And then the other component of these teachings is that keeps going. Like the degree of subtle awareness is it's expansive by nature.
Right.
So you only can get more efficient, more.
More and more and more.
Yeah. And more easeful, like more focused, more easeful, more productive in a relaxed, fun manner, right? Because that's kind of where it goes. And then what's at stake in that is the opposite of just like stressed out and bloated and.
Yeah, it's true. I never feel bloated. Like I don't get that heaviness after a meal. Maybe Thanksgiving is coming up, but other than that, I never eat so much or eat the kind of foods that make me feel that way. And when I do, right away, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have that. But I eat very clean, and I try to tell people, eat a clean protein, eat a very clean fat, like you're saying, eat whole fruits, whole vegetables, the perimeter of the grocery store. I mean, it's true. Yeah. It's 100% true. And if you eat that way, your body will start craving those foods. Yeah. And it's the reasons I never even thought about it at a deeper level, but it's exactly what you're explaining.
So let's bring a little bit of the lifting weights component that is a big part of Lean Gains.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd love, go ahead.
Yeah. You want to change your body, especially us ladies, like myself over 40, you've got to do resistance training. It can be body weight. You don't have to join a gym, but you have to do resistance training. Swimming isn't enough. Aqua aerobics isn't going to cut it. Walking helps, but isn't going to cut it. You need that jarring almost, that resistance, that impact to your bones to make them thick, to make them dense, to make them strong. I don't even have a thyroid gland. I had thyroid cancer when I was 26. See my nice scar? Oh, wow. See, beautiful, right? So, I should have a problem with bone density, but I don't. Never have. The only bone I've ever broken is a little chip in my thumb in high school. And I even had a really bad fall last year and tore my ACL for the second time. And the doctor said, you should have shattered your hip and your whole femur. Huh. But because my muscles are thick and I strength train, it supported everything. The orthopedic surgeon was like, there's no way that you should be this uninjured from the fall that you took. So I can't speak enough about strength training. Start slowly. Get a trainer if you're not comfortable. Any reputable gym will take you through and even give you an orientation if you don't want a trainer. We'll show you how to use maybe a circuit machines so you can go through on your own and get started. That's where we start people who are intimidated by a gym. Yeah. I live in it, so it doesn't intimidate me, but I remember back to when it did. And the hardest start, is just getting started. But, women in the weight room now is a lot more common than it was 20 years ago when I was in high school and college. So there's nothing to be afraid of. Just, pick something up that's bigger than a 5-pound dumbbell. Don't be afraid, to lift something heavy, but you need to have proper form. So that's where a trainer could come in handy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't want anyone getting hurt. I don't want anybody hearing this and going, oh yeah, I'm going to go and, do this and hurting themselves. Form is important. A strong core is important. I always tell people, start with the core.
And it goes back to, like with intermittent fasting of just if you're currently allowing a, 10-hour gap between the last time you ate and the first time you eat, like just slowly bump that up. It's the same with any bodily change. Like just start slow, be
20 minutes
consistent.
a couple times a week, then 30 minutes a couple times a week, then 20 minutes 3 times a week, Exactly. If you can, like you said, movement breaks, if you can build in a few minutes of movement here and there. And I think I was my thinnest when I lived in an apartment. I had to walk my dog 3 times a day. Honestly, it was an extra 45 minutes of walking. I tell people strength train and walk or something equivalent for the anti-inflammatory, response for recovery.
I love that. Yeah. And for people that, have desk jobs, I put a walking desk in my office a few years ago.
I don't have a walking desk.
Well, I just got a cheap treadmill. Actually, it's an expensive treadmill, but I got it for cheap off the local garage sale site. It was at least, I think I'm like really looking back. How long ago was it? It was probably 3 or 4 years ago. It's been a long time. And I just took off the monitor and put that on the side and just took it was pretty simple. We actually converted a yoga prop rack to be the new desk. It is so if like even today, I'm gonna work for probably an hour after this call, but I haven't walked yet today. I've worked out and I'll probably do something later tonight with my kid that's kind of active and fun and playful. Yeah. But my body is so entrained to walk. Right. And just getting that, like, there's no excuses anymore. Just like, why not to have a lot of movement in your life? Why not to eat really clean foods?
Yeah. Well, the problem with eating clean foods is, people who work in an office like I used to, you have to plan.
You got to plan.
Yeah, but it's like anything in life, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. So, put some mindfulness into it, put some thought into it. I don't make a separate meal for my lunch. I make extra for dinner the night before and I eat it for my lunch the next day. That doesn't bother me. I don't mind eating the same thing a couple days in a row. Yeah. And then I know exactly what I'm eating. It again saves me even more time. Yeah. Because I'm not eating breakfast and now I didn't have to make my lunch. Yeah. So these little kind of like little life hacks, if you would, Yeah. kind of help out.
Yeah. No, it's a real deal. I think that's why if someone is stressed out who's listening and not having these really simple habits in place, it's like, well, it'll make all the difference with the bigger problems that are coming from the little problems. Right. And then like, do you find you have more time each year? Like you have more time to do what you want?
Yeah, I do have more time, but it seems like the other areas of my life are caving so fast that it's like, I get it from all ends. My husband is fighting cancer for the 4th time, colorectal cancer. He's 43 years old. He's on his 3rd recurrence. So when he's under treatment, I'm, the husband and the wife. I'm doing, everything in the house and, and I still work a full-time job. And like I said, my daughter just went to college, but she got mono and I had to drive out to Penn State and go pick her up a couple weeks ago and bring her home. And it's just like the stress. So this is one less thing, I guess. Yeah, it takes it off my plate that I don't have to stress about. And I don't really stress about money because I'm not buying lunch every day. It's my dinner from the night before. So I'm saving $8 a day in, buying lunch at the cafe at base. So, it's a money saver too. A couple $100 a month. Okay, I'll take it,
Yeah. And you're not putting on 30 pounds from the stress.
Yeah, exactly. I'm lucky that I work in the field and that I'm active. I teach group exercise and I have a stand-up desk and the gym is 15 feet from my office. It's right there. So I'm lucky in that regard. I'm very blessed. I'll never get rich doing what I do, but I'm rich in other ways.
That's awesome. So just in closing, any advice for people who are, just based on from your community and the work with lots of people in the typical and the typical issues they have if they're inspired from what we've talked about with moving more and eating less frequently. Yeah. Any advice?
Probably, like I said, it's the merge of the two of us. Be more mindful. People are like, when can I eat? Or can I do this? Can I do that? Well, it depends.
Yeah.
Do you really need it? Are you really hungry, or are you just sitting around and it's a rainy day and you're bored and there's nothing to do? Be mindful of your situation. Be mindful of your emotions. Are you super stressed? If you are, fasting is another stress to a degree for someone who's not used to it.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Don't push it extra hours that day. Just do 12 hours. Don't push it to 14. Don't put, like you said, it moves every day. Be mindful of your body. Strength train, please. Pick up something heavy, put it down. So my husband always laughs at me. He's like, you gonna go pick something up and put it down? Yes, I do. 5 days a week, probably. And it's because of that I'm going to be 45 in December, and people can't believe it when I tell them how old I am, so it's a lifestyle, but it's not written in stone. It's flexible. The biggest thing, like I said, it's the merge between the two of us. Be mindful, be aware, use it to be aware. If you don't want to measure your food, remember what I said, the palm protein. For a man, it's a full palm, full hand. For a woman, it's a palm. Fist for a woman, 1 fist, 2 fists for a man, probably of average size, and a thumb or double for a man. So for your fats. So that's simple.
I love it. Well, thank you.
Fist.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it palm, fist, thumb for your meals, and that'll get you started. And don't eat after dinner. I mean, just stop snacking.
Amen to that. Amen. Sip hot water. That's what I do. Sip hot water. It's amazing stuff. Well, thank you so much, Jen. And so people can find you at fitnesssafari.blogspot.com. That's the best place for them to go. Okay.
Great.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye. All right, next up, How to Be Awesome with Your Time with Pete Makaitis. I met Pete at Podcast Movement, his own podcast on how to be awesome at your job. We did a show on how to be awesome with your time. It's on this Thursday, $. And if you missed, we've had rave reviews. If you missed the Breaking Through Your Gratitude Glass Ceilings, my special episode before Thanksgiving, it was published on 11/20/2017. Rave reviews, it's super short. We're going to do a number of these super short episodes in the future that are only 10, 15 minutes long. You can suggest a topic by emailing podcast@yogahealer.com and it'll get through to me. You can ask me questions, and we're going to do a bunch of really short Q&A episodes coming up in December. I know life is busy, holidays are busy, and you guys just want a quick hit of what's working. That's what I'm going to give you. How to be awesome with your time. Talk to you soon.
Yoga Healer Real Life Show with Kate Stillman. Yoga Healer.